All right, let's dive into everything happening with the Cowboys right now because honestly, the Micah Parsons situation is dominating all the headlines and for good reason. We're talking about one of the team's absolute best players, a guy who's been a cornerstone on defense and someone everyone in the league respects. Yet here we are well into August and there's still no resolution, no contract extension, no trade finalized. Just a whole lot of waiting and wondering what's going to happen next. The whole saga feels frustrating, especially since it's not like this kind of standoff is new in the NFL, but for a star of Micah's caliber, you expect the front office to get it done quickly. Instead, we have this prolonged back and forth that leaves fans, analysts, and frankly everyone involved scratching their heads. If you look back at similar situations, like with CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott last year, or even Zach Martin the year before, there's a pattern here. These big contract stories tend to drag out with a lot of silence in the middle, and then somehow magically the deal gets done right before the season kicks off. That seems to be the consensus among insiders. Now that eventually Micah Parsons will get his payday and remain a Cowboy. But the uncertainty that comes with waiting this long can't be overlooked. It's like everyone's holding their breath, hoping it all ends well. But the tension just keeps building. What's most baffling is that Micah is not some fringe player. He's one of the best defenders in the game and a clear foundational piece for Dallas. So why is this process dragging on with no sign of a breakthrough? The usual excuses start popping up. You hear whispers that it's about other players needing to get paid or that there's some sort of family drama behind the scenes. Honestly, those theories don't hold much water. It feels like a lot of misinformation floating around, sometimes even from people who should know better. The truth is probably simpler. The Cowboys have their approach to contracts and negotiations, and right now they're playing the long game. Maybe they believe that by waiting it out they can get better terms, or maybe they just want to see if trade offers come through. But the impact of this delay is draining for the player, for the team, and for the fan base who just want clarity. It's not to say things won't work out. There's still plenty of time before the regular season begins, and there's a long history of late deals getting done. The thing is, the longer this drags on, the more damage it could potentially do. Chemistry, focus, and morale could all take a hit. But if you look at the Cowboys' history, this isn't exactly a surprise. They've been known to test the limits on contracts and holdouts. Jerry Jones, the owner, has a reputation for playing hardball, and it usually ends with a resolution, but sometimes only after a lot of noise and drama. I wouldn't be shocked if that's exactly what happens here. Jerry picks up the phone, calls Micah and says, "Let's end this nonsense," then talks to the agent, agrees on terms, and finally signs the deal. Everyone ends happy, the press quiets down, and the Cowboys move forward. On the other side of this, though, there's a new wrinkle this time, the trade request. That adds a whole other layer of complexity because it means this isn't just a simple negotiation for a contract extension. Micah Parsons has apparently expressed a willingness to be moved, which, if true, changes the dynamic completely. Suddenly the doors open for other teams to come in and make offers, and the Cowboys might have to decide if they're willing to part ways with one of their best players or if they want to buckle down and get a deal done. This is a high stakes poker game now, and neither side wants to blink first. That's why this situation feels so tense and so unlike previous contract talks. At the same time, despite the messiness of it all, there's still a feeling that the Cowboys will figure this out. Maybe it's because the team is loaded with talent and they know losing Micah Parsons would be a huge blow. Maybe it's because Jerry Jones isn't known for giving up key players without a fight. Or maybe it's just that both sides ultimately want the same thing, for Micah to stay and get paid what he deserves. Whatever the case, it feels like the stalemate is more about timing and tactics than any irreparable damage. The process has been bad, no doubt about it, frustrating for everyone involved, but the endgame might still be positive if handled right. Switching gears just a bit, let's talk about the secondary and the ongoing concerns there. The Cowboys. Cornerback room has been hit hard with injuries this offseason, and it's raising real questions about the depth and the quality of the roster at that position. With key players like Trevon Diggs, Josh Butler, and Simone Reeves all nursing injuries, the options are limited. You got some promising young players, sure, but many of the backups and practice squad guys simply aren't proven at the NFL level. It's a shaky foundation, to say the least, especially heading into a season where the defense is going to need every bit of help it can get. That's why there's been chatter about potentially bringing in a veteran cornerback like Stephon Gilmore. Now, Gilmore isn't the player he once was at his peak, but even as a 35-year-old, he can offer experience, leadership, and solid play in a depleted secondary. The question becomes, does it make sense to sign him? Given the injuries and uncertainty, the answer leans toward yes. The Cowboys have very few reliable options outside their top two corners, and counting on unproven players to fill critical roles in Week 1 feels risky. Gilmore could come in as a stabilizing presence, someone who can mentor the younger guys and provide consistent coverage when called upon. Of course, there are considerations: his contract demands, his desired role, and whether he wants to play for Dallas, but the need seems clear. It's worth noting that Gilmore has a history with the Cowboys, and that familiarity might make a deal more feasible. He's reportedly still in good shape and eager to compete for a contender, which Dallas could be if things fall into place. Timing is another factor. Last year he signed around early August, which fits with where we are now. Bringing him in could also alleviate some of the pressure on the starting corners who are healthy but stretched thin. And in a league where injuries come fast and often, having a veteran like Gilmore waiting in the wings could be invaluable. Now, while the cornerback room struggles with health and depth, the situation with Trevon Diggs has been especially odd. There's been a lot of confusion and mixed messages surrounding his rehab and return timeline. He rehabbed away from the team during OTAs and minicamp, which apparently rubbed the Cowboys the wrong way. The front office has not been shy about expressing frustration with him, even taking public shots in a way that reminds you of past dramas like the Amari Cooper saga. Yet despite the tension, Diggs looks to be ahead of schedule in his recovery, working with top rehab specialists and making solid progress. Some reports suggest he might even return earlier than expected, possibly before Thanksgiving or maybe even sooner. The problem is, nobody seems to be on the same page about exactly where Diggs stands. The Cowboys downplay his timeline. Diggs says he wants to be back by Week 1, and then you have that strange incident at training camp where some claimed he fell. But watching the footage, it looks more like he was just fatigued from conditioning. The disconnect between the player and the organization on this is stark. It raises questions about trust, communication, and how both sides view the situation. If Diggs does come back sooner than anticipated, it could catch the Cowboys off guard and potentially expose some of the friction behind the scenes. At the very least, it's a storyline worth following closely because it could have major implications for the defense's performance this season. All this chaos, the contract drama with Parsons, the injury-plagued secondary, the uneasy vibe around Diggs paints a picture of a team at a crossroads. The Cowboys have the talent to compete, no doubt, but the way these issues are being handled doesn't exactly inspire confidence. At the same time, there's an underlying sense that these problems are fixable. The talent is there, the front office knows what it needs to do, and the season is still young enough that adjustments can be made. Whether it's signing a veteran cornerback, finally locking down Micah Parsons with a big contract, or getting Trevon Diggs back in the lineup, the Cowboys have some clear priorities to address. The pressure is on, and the clock is ticking. Every decision they make in the coming weeks will shape the course of their season. The fans are watching, the league is watching, and the Cowboys themselves know the stakes couldn't be higher. It's a fascinating, frustrating, and intense time to be following this team, and the story is far from over. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The sports world was set abuzz this week with a blockbuster trade that sent shockwaves through the NFL landscape, confirming a major deal between the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys. The trade, which has been the subject of intense speculation for weeks, culminated in the Cowboys securing the services of star quarterback Josh Allen. This move marks a significant shift in the NFL's power dynamics, as Allen has been one of the most electrifying and productive quarterbacks in recent seasons. The Cowboys, a franchise known for their storied history and passionate fan base, have clearly demonstrated their ambition to contend for championships by acquiring a player of Allen's caliber. The trade details reveal a substantial exchange of draft picks and key players between the two teams, underscoring the high stakes involved. Buffalo, while losing a franchise quarterback, appears to have strategically positioned themselves for a rebuild or a new direction with promising assets gained from Dallas. For the Cowboys, the arrival of Allen signals a renewed offensive strategy that capitalizes on his dual threat abilities, combining a strong arm with dynamic mobility. The impact of this trade will undoubtedly influence not just the immediate upcoming season, but also shape the NFL's competitive landscape for years to come, as fans and analysts alike eagerly anticipate seeing how Allen integrates into the Cowboys' offensive system. Josh Allen's tenure with the Buffalo Bills was marked by a meteoric rise to stardom, characterized by his fierce competitiveness and ability to perform under pressure. His leadership on the field turned the Bills into perennial playoff contenders, reinvigorating a franchise hungry for success. Allen's combination of size, athleticism, and arm talent made him a nightmare for defenses, capable of extending plays with his legs and delivering pinpoint throws downfield. His departure from Buffalo is a poignant moment for the franchise and its loyal fans, who will undoubtedly fill the void left by their former star. However, the trade package Buffalo received offers hope for a new chapter, potentially accelerating their rebuild or bolstering their roster with fresh talent. Meanwhile, Dallas fans are celebrating the acquisition of a quarterback who could elevate the team to Super Bowl contention. The synergy between Allen's aggressive style and the Cowboys' traditionally strong offensive line creates a promising formula for success. This deal not only shakes up the quarterback landscape, but also forces other franchises to reconsider their strategies and roster compositions, as the ripple effects of Allen's move are felt across the league. From a strategic standpoint, the Dallas Cowboys have positioned themselves as immediate contenders with this acquisition. The front office's bold move reflects a clear intent to capitalize on the prime years of their roster, while addressing the quarterback position, which had been a subject of debate for seasons. Josh Allen's skill set aligns perfectly with Dallas's offensive philosophy, which emphasizes a balanced attack and explosive playmaking. The Cowboys coaching staff now faces the critical task of integrating Allen into the playbook, optimizing schemes to leverage his strengths while minimizing risks. This transition period will be closely scrutinized, as expectations for immediate results are sky high. The trade also impacts the NFC East division, injecting a new level of competition and raising the stakes for rivals like the Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders, and New York Giants. Allen's arrival could redefine the division's hierarchy, forcing opponents to adapt defensively to his dual threat capabilities. Moreover, the trade sends a message across the NFL that the Cowboys are willing to make aggressive moves to secure their place among the elite, challenging other franchises to respond in kind. The ripple effects of this deal will extend beyond just the field, influencing fan engagement, media coverage, and league dynamics in the seasons ahead. Buffalo's decision to trade Josh Allen, while initially surprising to many, reflects a calculated approach to long-term team building and financial management. Despite Allen's undeniable talent and leadership, the Bills' front office must weigh the benefits of acquiring valuable draft capital and younger assets against the risks of losing a franchise cornerstone. The salary cap implications of retaining Allen, coupled with a desire to address other roster needs, likely influenced this decision. Buffalo's commitment to developing a sustainable, competitive team over the coming years suggests that the trade is part of a broader vision rather than a reactionary move. Fans and analysts will watch closely to see how the Bills utilize their newfound resources, whether through aggressive drafting, free agency, or trades. The impact on team culture and locker room dynamics will also be significant as a new quarterback steps into Allen's shoes. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys are embracing a high-risk, high-reward strategy, banking on Allen's proven track record and leadership to propel them to immediate success. This contrasting approach between the two Franchises highlights the diverse ways NFL teams manage talent and roster construction in a highly competitive environment. Ultimately, the success of his trade will be measured not only by wins and losses, but also by how effectively each team leverages the opportunities created by this historic deal. The confirmation of Josh Allen's trade to the Dallas Cowboys marks one of the most consequential transactions in recent NFL history, generating excitement and speculation about what the future holds for both franchises. Fans in Dallas are eagerly anticipating the first game with a new quarterback, envisioning a revitalized offense capable of challenging the league's best. The media spotlight will undoubtedly focus on Allen's adaptation to a new environment, his chemistry with the Cowboys receiving corps, and his leadership role within the team. For Buffalo, the challenge lies in navigating the post-Allen era with resilience and vision, capitalizing on the assets gained to remain competitive. The trade's ramifications extend beyond the immediate season, influencing draft strategies, free agency moves, and overall league balance. It also raises questions about the nature of quarterback stability and the lengths teams will go to secure elite talent. As training camps open and preseason approaches, all eyes will be on Dallas and Buffalo to see how this blockbuster trade unfolds on the field. The narrative of Josh Allen's journey from Buffalo to Dallas will be a defining storyline for the NFL, illustrating the ever-evolving dynamics of professional football and the relentless pursuit of championship glory by the league's most storied franchises. This landmark trade has set the stage for an electrifying new chapter in NFL history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.